Hey. It's not my earliest stream ever. Not by a long shot. It's just I was catching up on some of the P. Diddy updates, and it's pretty crazy stuff. So I wanted to talk about it on stream, and then I was going to play a game after. But I am just so glued to this case. Thanks to Resub South and the Prime Light. And the Resub Spoon and the membership David. Not going to happen because he's going to get Jeffrey Epsteined. We'll see. We will see. Thanks to Resub Rain and Mundo. His membership RK. I did see that headline, Vincent. The TikTok star who their therapist. I did see that. Thanks to Resub Lazy. Is this confirmed accomplices or just a list? We'll talk about it in just a minute. Wait for people to trickle in. Not going to be a notification today for stream. Just a heads up. Thanks to Resub, Caleb, and Stubbs, and Pog. I don't know. I don't think he's going to get Epsteined. I don't know. There's just something telling me he's actually going to survive. I don't think he's going to get Epsteined. We'll see, though. We will see. Thank you, Tier 1. Asm. Wow. That advertisement next to this article's crazy. Why do gynecologists recommend this 100% leak-proof underwear to my ma'am? From Out Fanny. Cool. Hey, to USA Today's credit, at least this isn't completely inundated with ads. There's only 4 here that I can see. Usually it's like 7 or 8. No, I'm definitely feeling better. Not 100%, but better. Thanks, Risa Baden. I think Epsteining such a huge figure may have been a one-time thing because now everyone would foul play even if he did actually do it himself. Okay, so let's just go down that path. Let's say they him in broad daylight, like there's just video footage of them coming in there and executing P. Diddy before he outs everyone. What are we going to do about it? Most of the world knows Epstein didn't himself, but we can't do anything about it. I don't think they care. Thanks to Tier 1 Simp. Yeah, I'll be playing games after going over this. Anyone know if the Diddy trials are going to be live? Couldn't tell you. No clue. Probably not. He's a Prime Psycho. You might be right, Girthy. We'll see, though. This is all still so new. Yeah, so what came out last night in the P. Diddy case is a lawyer from the Busby law firm has come forward stating that he received thousands of calls over the last 10 days, and they have verified 120 of the victims as legitimate victims, including 25 who were minors. So they have now filed a pending civil lawsuits for it, and he gave a little conference going over kind of like the gist of it. Here, this is a good like summation.
Sex trafficking lawyer Tony Busby made the revelation today.
The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment.
So he's going through like an entire like platinum trophy list worth of allegations and crimes that Diddy is accused of doing with 120 new victims. So it's a lot, obviously. It's a huge chunk, which I don't think anyone's surprised by given the scope of Diddy and the Diddy parties and all of that. But now these are being filed. They're separate from the indictment, so this is different than what Diddy is currently in jail for. And he, the lawyer, is claiming that some of the names, like accomplices, people that engaged with it, people that knew about it and did nothing, are names that will shock people. Why did Nicolas Cage's son accusing him of hitting come up? Why, that's not what?
But the names that we're going to name, that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know.
What is this countdown?
This behavior occur.
Really? That's fascinating. I hate using the internet without an ad block on. Jesus Christ. Okay. Anyway, though, he goes on to say that it's more than just, like, the people that engaged and people that were, like, complicit and everything. And they have, like, evidence to back it up, this and that. And I can tell you, Kevin Hart is sweating. He has been videoed at a Diddy party, and I bet right now he is panicking. That dude's going to try and book, like, 1,000 rolls ASAP before it all comes crumbling down with Diddy here, I bet. Thanks to Resub Takara and the Tier 1 Corby. But I was wondering, what names would really shock me? I just feel like everyone in Hollywood is just fundamentally evil, save for some rare exceptions. I don't think anyone that'll be named in this, if they're confirmed to be, like, a Diddy that like engaged with all of this degenerate, awful, illegal. I don't think there's any names there that would surprise me. Like maybe Bill Nye would surprise me, or like Humphrey Bogart because he's dead. Like that would be crazy if Humphrey Bogart is in the middle of all this. But aside from that, like I don't know who else would really surprise me. Maybe like Wumpus from Discord would be another one that'd be pretty shocking. Keanu. Oh, Keanu Reeves would be a very shocking one. But I'm so confident he wouldn't be involved here that it's not even a thought that crosses my mind. Like, he doesn't engage with any Hollywood zombies or anything, really. Brendan Fraser. That's another person, though, that also just doesn't really engage with a lot of people in Hollywood. He was even ostracized from Hollywood for a little while. So I just don't think he'd be involved in it either. But those would be shocking. You were right, yeah. Those were so shocking, my voice just cracked. Thanks to Tier 1 Fat. Membership cool. Who would be your number one pick? Like, who do I think is for sure going to be involved in all of this? If they ever release the Diddy list? I think, obvious one, Kevin Hart. He's already been on video at a Diddy party. I think, for sure, Diddy will take down Kevin Hart with him. Aside from him, there's a couple others that I think are easy slam dunks, like some of like the big in the music industry. Like I think Jay-Z, to a certain extent. Who else would be like a guarantee, I think? Appreciate the 15 gift subs, Corby. Thanks for the generosity. And I did not hear that. Who's doing that? Drake is a guarantee? Oh, Drake probably, yeah. Yeah. That's another strong one, yeah. Kevin's Get Hard movie wasn't a lie, just foreshadowing. I forgot all about that movie. Holy Get Hard. Beyonce? Maybe. I don't know enough about the Beyonce-Diddy connection, but one that I haven't seen anyone mention, J-Lo. I think J-Lo for sure. I think she for sure knew. Just say you want James... You even got his name wrong. His name's not James Gordon, it's James Corden. James Corden's not going to be brought up in the Diddy file. There's no shot. Things are resub fried. Hold on. The whole conference is... Where is it? Here.
Hello, everyone.
So it's a lot, and so I'll let this play out a little bit more before going into it.
Sexual abuse of minors.
Busby says the victims include both men and women, and he says some of them were minors.
Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old.
Jesus
We have
Christ.
one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of.
And he says there's evidence to prove it.
You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals.
Diddy is being held without...
So we're going to see how this unfolds here, but he also mentioned in the conference they received 3,000 calls, and of the 3,000 calls, they verified, like they did their due diligence, according to him, verified 120 of them as like legitimate victims, and claims that they have a lot of evidence to support it. So it seems like there's quite a lot of weight to that. Like, it doesn't seem like just people trying to capitalize off Diddy for a payday. What it really seems like is now that this case has blown up, like the lid's been blown wide open, cat's out of the bag, everyone who has been a victim for so many decades is starting to come forward with their own accounts. Kind of like the March of the Treants against Isengard. So now they're all coming out, they're all talking about what happened, and apparently a lot of it's being verified. So, could be a pretty big deal. I appreciate that. Thanks, Roblox. Yeah, I've been playing RuneScape again as well. I just finished Desert Treasure 2. I still have like 3 quests left before I get my quest cape back. I'm gonna watch the Fortnite event on Saturday. Forgot about it. Do you think Bieber will talk? I think so. I think Justin Bieber is another, like, big victim in all of this. I think he'll probably come forward. Just a hunch. I don't have a crystal ball or anything to predict it, but I just feel like Hollywood did Bieber so dirty. Like, openly sexualizing him as a child and all of that. Like, I feel like he's probably going to speak about it. Thanks, Resub Vengeful. No, I keep seeing the name Emperor, but I never learned about it. Thanks, membership. Ukami, membership Blossom and Suzanne. No, I didn't see that, Girthy. Never saw that music video. Why are people saying DiCaprio? I don't know. Is DiCaprio a good friend of Diddy's? Or is he like a victim? I don't know about the DiCaprio connection to it all. Thanks for membership. He's on the list. You think? We'll see. The list isn't out yet. But according to this attorney, it is going to be shocking. DiCaprio was found in a lot of pictures at the parties. Is that real? Let me see. I'll look it up. DiCaprio Diddy pictures, I guess. Oh yeah, wow. Leonardo DiCaprio's defiant statement after denying involvement in Diddy's freak-off parties. Hold on. Let me pull this up. I love this. Look at all these wonderful ads I get in my article. My article's somewhere in here, I'm sure. Just gotta find it. Star Titanic has been maintaining a low profile as he publicly separates himself from the American rapper who is currently incarcerated awaiting trial for alleged sex trafficking, involvement in prostitution, racketeering, and other offenses. This follows the circulation of photos of Leo at Diddy's renowned white parties, where it's claimed that freak-off parties occurred after hours. Diddy has since been accused of coercing women into elaborate and produced sex performances that would sometimes extend for days. Reports suggest, including Diddy himself, required IV drips. This is all what we've known about it for a while, but where is Leo? Here we go. The last occasion they were photographed together was in 2019 when Leo, 49, attended Diddy's 50th birthday celebration. That's crazy. I clicked this link expecting it to have the photograph. What it did is it just linked me back to the same article I was reading to try and farm more ads off of me. You make me sick, Irish Star. Yeah, I didn't know that, though. I didn't know DiCaprio and Diddy were so close. Why can't you use your ad block? Because then I can't read the articles on half of these dog websites. I wonder if anything will actually happen to those implicated. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I would hope so, but there's just a super good chance that there won't. Like, there's just a really high likelihood that they'll just get off of it. No problem. Here's the Prime Zaza. True, Sparky. I don't know if this is true or not, but you did just remind me of something. One guy in chat said, Ellen called Diddy Cuddle McSnuggle Stuff, before remarking you don't need to know why. Don't know if that's true or not, but what you reminded me of is Ellen has a stand-up special, and I saw a couple of clips from it, and it was so weird. So there's the big clip that I saw people push around that Matt sent me. I don't know how it came to this, but she eventually said, I'm a strong, independent woman. And then the crowd, for over a minute and 10 seconds, I think it was, gave her a standing ovation in the middle of her stand-up set. Like, I don't even know if there was comedy involved in it or not. I was going to watch it at some point, but I just felt like it'd be kind of miserable. Like, I'll watch Amy Schumer, sure, because sometimes it's so bad that I can almost appreciate the shittiness of it. But with Ellen, I just feel like I'll get mad and bored. But for over a minute, after she said she's a strong, independent woman, the crowd gave her a standing ovation that never let up for over a minute, which was nuts. Because she's actually just one of the most well-known bullies in the industry. She put on the ruse of being like a really sweet person, but is actually just a giant piece of shit, according to everyone that's ever worked with her. Thanks, Risa Morgie. Good question, Joey. I don't know how that works from the legality standpoint with the civil lawsuits and the indictment, but probably, I would think. Never heard of Zeal and Ardora. Check the band out, though. Yeah, I guess so, Ralph. Thanks for 10 gifted members, Lotus. Appreciate the generosity. Ashton Kutcher. Is he friends with P. Diddy? Seems like he would be. I do not like Ashton Kutcher. Ever since he wrote that character piece for The Rapist. Thanks to the membership, Kermit. Oh, Ashton Kutcher said Ellen is a good person. Oh, good. He's a great judge of character. If he says so, it must be true. That's fair. I didn't think about that. Hey, Susan. He made one mistake. You know how much good he's done with sex trafficking? It is a big mistake, though. He tried to get a rapist off with lenient sentencing. That's a pretty mistake to make. And as for the sex trafficking, I remember he does play a pretty big role in some of it, but I don't know to what extent. It's been a while since I've looked at the work he does outside of defending a rapist. There's the membership, Stu. I hope Basic went well for you. Welcome back. Membership wheel. Appreciate it. Thanks to Risa Blaze. Thanks to the gifted member, Lele. Good to see you, Lele. Hope you had a good day. No, they haven't released any of the names or anything yet. Right now, they just filed the civil lawsuits for these 120 victims. That's the big thing. Oh, I really appreciate the huge gift sub drop, Legend. Good to see you, man. I hope you had a good week. Hope you've been doing well. I don't know, Bricks. Probably not, though. But this is all, like, fresh. This is only, like, 16 hours old. So, we'll see what comes from it. P. Diddy's lawyer hasn't spoke on it yet. He's still too busy fighting on the front lines about the baby oil stuff. So, we'll have to wait to see what Mark says. I'm sure Mark will dismiss it as just people, like, trying to pounce on Diddy for money. That's the angle I think he's going to try and claim. That's just my guess, based on everything I've seen from Mark, but we'll see. I know Costco responded saying they don't even sell baby oil or whatever. I saw. I don't think anyone's surprised. Mark was just fishing for any kind of logical reason. Like, he was doing his best. He is obligated to defend everything Diddy does and has ever done. Like, even with that video of him beating the shit, Mark defends it as like, well, you need to kind of understand the context. She threw her phone at him. So, I mean, you know, like, you know, like, it's not good. It's not good to beat women, but, I mean, we need to remember, she threw her phone. So like, it's Mark's job. Of course he's going to defend it. You should make a prediction, a prediction list of 10 celebrities and see if you get any right. We did that for the Epstein list and then they never released it. We can do that though. We can make a predictions list like last time. Appreciate that, Slash. I do think the easy ones are Jay-Z, J-Lo. I do think Drake. Kevin Hart is the most obvious one. I think Beyonce. Usher 100% knew about all of it. He started as a victim and then never did anything to fight back against him. Who else would be like a pretty surefire one? I do think Leonardo DiCaprio. Even though I've just learned the very basics, like the bare minimum about his connection to Diddy. I'll throw that in there. Oh, LeBron. LeBron ain't no party like a Diddy party. Yeah, I do think he'll probably be in the mix. Will Smith? Probably not Will Smith. I think probably Meek Mills. And that's 9. We'll throw in like one wacky one to close it off and see if we get the Hail Mary. Who would be like a really shocking... You know, I'll throw in James Corden. James Corden somehow. Thanks, membership. Daifu, appreciate it. Why do people keep saying Katy Perry? Is she friends with him? I feel like everyone at some point has had some connection to P. Diddy. So like I said, I don't think I'll be shocked by any names. Thoughts on the new Creed game? I'm not excited for it. I don't like the Creed. So I'm not like looking forward to it or anything. Maybe Max Mafia. That's probably a good place to start. Of course I played that game. It's a great game, Roman. I forgot all about Fat Joe. Does Fat Joe still even work in the industry? What's Fat Joe up to these days? Ever since like the Terror Squad, I haven't really heard his name. It looks like he's still around. You see Steven Spielberg plays Call of Duty. Good for him. Probably farmed his in the beta for Black Ops 6. You gonna play Zoocrosis? Yeah, I was gonna play it today, but I forgot we're doing a overnight haunted paranormal investigation, so I won't be home later tonight to play it. So it won't be Zoocrosis tonight, probably tomorrow. I am excited for Sparking Zero. Spoiler alert, we're not gonna find any ghosts or goblins or ghouls or anything. It's not real. But we're going to check anyway. We're going to try and conjure them. Is that right, Angelina? No, I don't know anything about it, Stumpy. Only that it's just like a bootleg knockoff version of it. I don't know what all there is to speak about with it. Thanks, membership cookie. Do you ever think you would do live ghost hunting? I'd be open to it. It's just kind of hard to set that up. You play Throne and Liberty? Not really. I'm not an MMO guy. You see the Kai Cenat draft? I did not. Matt was telling me about it though a little bit. That sounds pretty cool. Did like a whole basketball draft and everything. Beyonce birthday September 4th, Diddy birthday November 4th, Jay-Z birthday December 4th, Jay-Z album name 444, Diddy's party on the 4th. I don't know about that connection. Sounds like something from a movie, like a movie like Da Vinci Code. Yeah, I was gonna play TCG Shop Simulator. Seems silly. Michael Jordan is suing NASCAR. Why? What is Michael Jordan suing for? Michael Jordan's 23X racing team sues NASCAR. Damn, that picture goes hard. I still haven't seen Transformers 1. I was gonna see Transformers 1 last night after stream, but they had no more showings after stream, so I ended up seeing Bagman, which I don't think anyone in this entire world has heard of before. But it was like the only thing they were showing at that time was Bagman. There's the membership, Brown Sugar. It's just a bad horror movie. It's just like the most generic, schlocky horror flick. It was actually just a huge waste of time. Like, I would have been better to just sit in silence for an hour and a half. So it looks like it's an antitrust case. They used anti-competitive practices to prevent fair competition. That's interesting. Can't say I'm the biggest NASCAR fan or anything, so I don't really have a huge horse in this race. Sounds like they have a decent case, though. This doesn't seem like baloney. Couldn't tell you. Update. No idea. I've talked about Johnny's Talent Agency in Japan. They're the ones that basically control the people's lives forever. That was a big story back when Yakuza was coming out. Or not Yakuza, Lost Judgment. No other professional sport in North America is run by a single family that enriches themselves through these kinds of unchecked monopolistic practices. I did not know NASCAR was privately owned and operated by one family. Wow. Thanks, Carmel. Thoughts on FaZe's success? Oh, they're crushing it. What is it, like 4 of the top 6 streamers are FaZe right now? They're going ballistic. Yeah, they earned that. They're grinding. This just sounds completely made up. They found a tunnel from Diddy's house to Michael Jackson's. What are you talking about? Are we just making it up now or something? They found a tunnel in Diddy's house? The truth to rumors, Diddy's house had secret tunnels. Yeah, let's see if it's true. No. There has been no confirmation that such tunnels exist. Cool. I love how everything that happens now has just completely made up attached to it. Like forever. What's your opinion on Cat Williams predicting so much about stuff happening in 2024? Do you think he really has that much info about the industry? I think it's a combination of things. I think Cat Williams knew a lot about how sinister and how evil the industry is. So he was able to just talk about it, and everything started unfolding this year. And I think it's also Cat Williams talking so much about so many things that some of it was definitely going to stick. So I think it's a little column A, a little column B. I think he knew a lot, and I think he also just talked about a lot, so obviously things were going to start to line up. Yeah, I know HBO removed a bunch of shows. Ooh, Vince McMahon would be a crazy one on the list. How's your dad doing in the car restoration? He's almost done. 32 Ford's almost finished. Thanks for your sub, Vin. Membership Stanley. I haven't seen Megalopolis yet. I want to see it, though. It looks like a really fun, bad movie. But I haven't seen it yet. I'll see it sometime this week. God, that LeBron meme has been around for so long, and for the first time it's actually somewhat applicable with Diddy. How will it affect his legacy? If LeBron is somehow included in these claims, and it's like verified, it will actually tarnish his legacy. Actually, maybe not. Maybe not. I say that, but then I remember that basketball still celebrates Karl Malone, and he impregnated a 13-year-old. The guy is a rapist, and they still celebrate him. So maybe it wouldn't, actually. Thanks for your sublines. Nuclear Jaden in the prime. Idiot. UFC fans still glaze Jones even though he beat his wife bloody. That's almost every sport now. Like, football players beat their wives all the time, and it's just like, that'll be a $10,000 fine. And the fans go back to cheering. Sports fans don't really care too much, to be honest. Like, across any of the sports, it's not just like football, basketball, UFC. It's like any sport, they just do not really care. I don't think I can do that, Daifu, but I'm wishing you luck with it. Thanks for your Sabazvi. Membership PB&J. Thanks, Arthur. And no, I haven't heard about that, Maximoff. When was that? You think Karl Malone's on the list? Nah, he's too old to have been invited to a Diddy party. I don't think he'll be on it. Thanks for that, Wolf. Appreciate the generosity. I love that 50 Cent is having a field day with this. Yeah, he's making the docu-series about Diddy. I wonder how that'll be. How corrupt do you think the music industry is with 120 new sexual allegations against Diddy? How did no one notice? They did notice, man. They just don't care. It's not just the music industry. The music industry is super easy, but it's not just the music industry. It's pretty much anything Hollywood adjacent. Any major industry has that kind of go on, and you just never hear about it. It never breaks. It's not a conspiracy. That's just like a real thing. There are evil, evil, evil people at the top of those industries. Did Baba Vanga predict this? Oh, we need to check. Yeah, I didn't look at Baba Vanga's predictions to see if they lined up with this. She very well could have. What does that mean? I don't know what that means, big. Have you heard about the impact plastic and they made the workers stay during flood and bosses left? I don't even know what your statement really means. What are you talking about? Dark Tide update's good? Is it? I haven't checked it out. Thanks for your sub, Tobias. What are the odds Dan Schneider's on that list? I think very low. I highly doubt Dan Schneider would be invited. He would have loved to have gone, for sure. But I just don't think he would have ever been invited. Oh, that's definitely not good. I had no idea, Big. I hope everyone's alright. Yeah, I'd be in the Hunger Games movies again if they needed me back for District 8. Thanks for some Hatbox and Bong. During the hurricane, a plastic company forced people to stay in a warehouse and they all... What? Tennessee plastics factory staff in Hurricane Helene reportedly told not to evacuate. Holy. What the... One worker said Impact Plastics managers would not let employees leave, which the company is denying. Several employees were... Holy. The company denied that managers had told employees not to leave. When water began to cover the parking lot and the adjacent service road and the plant lost power, employees were dismissed by management to return to their homes in time for them to escape the industrial park. At no time were employees told that they would be fired if they left the facility. For employees who were non-English speaking, bilingual employees were among the group of managers who delivered the message. While most employees left immediately, some remained on or near the premises for unknown reasons. Yeah, it sounds like a bunch of to me. Sounds like they're trying their best to avoid wrongful lawsuits. One Piece update? I'm still in Wano. Early in Wano. Thanks, membership cheese. What do you think they'll do with all the baby oil took from P. Diddy? I mean, they can't do anything with it. Burn it, I guess. What, they're not gonna, like, resell it? You gonna try Wendy's Krabby Patty in a video? Wendy's is making a Krabby Patty? That's cool. Sure, I'll try it, I guess. You didn't know? No, I don't really tap in like that anymore. Most of the shit that I learn about, I get told from friends at the warehouse, or I actively follow the P. Diddy stuff, so this one I actually do go out of my way to look for. Michael Jackson's case was reopened. What? Like, in relation to Diddy, or in general? Michael Jackson's abuse case was reopened, but Diddy and his fictional house tunnel are unrelated to it. Is that what spawned the Diddy tunnel theory? Is because Michael Jackson's case was reopened? Interesting. Maybe there was a tunnel. Thanks, Royal. What are they going to do? Handcuff his grave? Don't be stupid. What do you mean? They'd sue the estate. Just because he's dead doesn't mean they can't, like, get justice. What's going on with that lunatic? Is this real? Have you seen the video where a guy jumps over Diddy in a dunk contest and Diddy goes on his tippy toes so he could feel his nuts on his face? That sounds like another made-up thing, but it's a dunk contest. There's got to be video of it, right? Let me check it out. Probably quite a bit, Sam. I bet a lot will be reopened. Hold on, I want to find that. Thanks, Mango. Oh, this is from 3 days ago. This has one view on it. There is a single view on this video that popped up for me when I looked it up, which is interesting.
Bro, if you really...
Why did this get recommended for the first one? There's got to be another upload, right? I just want to see the raw footage of it. Oh, here we go. I don't know about that. I thought it was going to be, like, egregious. I guess kind of. I don't know. It doesn't look like he tried to get teabagged. It seems more like when he was getting jumped over, his thigh hit his head, so it pushed him forward a little bit. So he kind of went up on his toes while falling forward. I thought it was going to be much more obvious, where, like, the guy was jumping over him and P. Diddy turned around, mouth open on his tippy toes or something. Okay, actually, never mind. That's quite a lot of tippy toes there. But now his nuts are nowhere near his face. I don't know. It's hard to know for sure. It's entirely possible. There's a better angle of it. Alright, I'll have to find a better angle. Enhance. Run that back? Yeah, maybe. Seen the Diddy party commercial from MTV? Nope. Can't say I saw that. Nah, I don't think Michael Jackson faked his. Probably started floating like he was smelling a pie. No, I think those were like two angles that would probably show it best. I can't even think of where a better angle would be for it. The E-tunnels are a rumor from the 80s about the Playboy Mansion. Diddy's house is in the same neighborhood. They say the old Playboy execs ran a ring and all their houses in the same neighborhood had tunnels to traffic. Never heard that one, actually. You said it's existed since the 80s as a rumor? It's news to me. I don't know who my favorite boss across all Soulsborns would be. I usually default to saying Radon, but I don't know. I love Radon, but I feel like I'm just overlooking some of the other bangers. Like, I also really love Orphan. See the video of Diddy on All That on Nickelodeon from '02. I probably watched that live when I was a kid. But no, I can't say I've seen it. Is that real, Heavy Hearts? I really do, again, I'll say it again. I really do think Diddy's not going to get Epsteined. I think we'll eventually know the depths of the depravity, and I think we'll know a lot of the celebrities and that were engaged. That's my prediction. I don't know who all is going to be implicated beyond, like, the obvious, like Kevin Hart and all that, but I do really think for sure he's not going to get Epsteined. You also said a second Boeing whistleblower wouldn't... Okay, man, like, it's just a prediction. Of course, I'm not Baba Vanga. I'm not going to get them all right. I'm just saying I don't think they're going to... We can only clear one person for certain, 50 Cent. That's the only guy that's innocent. He's been on Diddy for years. Can you imagine, though, if he is actually named in this? That would be... Actually, that name would shock me. That would be one of the few names that would actually shock me. This was just the main update today. This and the list that they're alluding to with the shocking names. The whole thing's here, though, if you want to watch the law firm talk about it with the evidence that they claim to have collected for it. See the video Kevin Hart telling Kelly Clarkson to shut up because she was starting to expose this a few years ago? Nope. Never heard of that. Hear about Michael Jackson's leaked phone call and letters? Seems fake, but I don't know. No, I did not. I haven't heard half of this. Like I said, I'm not really tapped into this, like, the news cycle all that much anymore. The only things that I keep up with are P. Diddy and whatever my friends talk about at the warehouse. So no, I can't say I heard about his leaked phone calls and letters. These are some generic. Have you watched The Substance? Not yet. I have not. I did watch Bagman. I wanted to go see a good movie last night. One of the new movies, but none were showing. So instead I got stuck with Bagman. P. Diddy. I'm sure most of you know that name, and I'm sure in recent times you've at least heard a little bit about the awful things he is accused of. P. Diddy has been a huge individual in the music industry for decades now, and with a lot of new information coming to light about his past as well as what he's been doing behind the scenes, a lot of people are comparing him to the Harvey Weinstein or the Epstein of the music industry. It's abhorrent stuff that's come to light. And in recent times he's become known as the Diddler. And you don't want to fiddle with the diddle. P. Diddy's got a laundry list of extremely serious accusations, and he's embroiled in a ton of controversy as well as lawsuits, and there's just been a lot to keep track of with everything he's accused of. From car bombings to assault to abuse to trafficking. It's like he's trying to get the platinum trophy for crime. He's committed like every crime imaginable, allegedly. It's scary stuff. And like I said, there's been so much that I imagine a lot of you aren't even aware of all of it. But luckily, Jackson, Windigoon, and myself did all the heavy lifting and compiled all of the information about everything he's accused of into our Red Thread episode covering P. Diddy. I'll drop a link to the full episode in the description, but for this one, I'm just going to give you all of the most pertinent information concerning the P. Diddy case. We're going to start with Cassandra Ventura's case against P. Diddy. She was in a relationship with him for quite some time and suffered greatly as a result. It initially started with P. Diddy signing her to his record label, Bad Boy Records. He signed her for a 10-album record deal, which is a ton. 10 albums is more than probably most artists have ever put out. Unless you're someone that's just using AI-generated music, it's hard to just shit out 10 albums. That's a lot. Like, that's not small potatoes at all. You're in there for like 30 years to make 10 albums, most likely. And it seems like from the very start, this was all just a ploy, a nefarious scheme from P. Diddy to get Cassandra to be with him. So immediately he started driving a divide between her and her boyfriend. He would leverage his power in the industry to just have control over her. And it's just a horrible, horrible situation.
So on the 16th of November of 2023, P. Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, filed a lawsuit detailing a years-long series of abuse perpetuated on her by Diddy. Ventura claims that she was trapped in a cycle of abuse, violence, and trafficking, listing that Diddy, A, raped Mrs. Ventura in her home after she tried to leave him, B, often punched, beat, kicked, and stomped on Miss Ventura, resulting in bruises, burst lips, black eyes, and bleeding. C, blew up a man's car after he learned that he was romantically interested in Mrs. Ventura. D, forced Mrs. Ventura to engage in acts with male workers while masturbating and filming the encounters. Ran out of his apartment with a firearm in pursuit of a rival industry executive whom he learned was nearby.
All right, never mind. He could have absolutely killed Tupac if he's doing shit like that. He's assassinating rival industry executives.
Yeah.
Yep. So for what it's worth, I don't know if you clarified, but the car explosion was actually Kid Cudi being the victim. So Kid Cudi's car exploded in his driveway, and P. Diddy is the one that's blamed for it.
Cassie was in a relationship with producer Ryan Leslie from 2004 to 2007. It appeared from the start, however, that Diddy was interested in a relationship with Cassie. He started to push her away from Ryan and forced a divide between them. Diddy was in a long-term relationship with Kim Porter, which ended in 2007 due to his alleged infidelity. Even while in his previous relationships, Diddy would apparently not allow Ryan, her boyfriend, around, flirting with Cassie and forcing her to do drugs while she was in private with him. Cassie was young and impressionable, and Diddy flaunted his wealth, showing his ability to look after her or control her. Diddy had the ability to skyrocket Cassie's career, but in return, he seemed to have wanted her obedience and loyalty. She feared that rejecting him would harm her future career and album deal, so she eventually went along with his request.
So just the like age-old manipulation tactic that all of these like Hollywood producers and all these executives have used time and time again. It's like
you want to be famous, don't you?
Yeah, you want to be famous.
Just holding it over their head.
Just some awful stuff. The stuff that started the Me Too movement, obviously. Harvey Weinstein, stuff like that. Obviously, just massive amounts of pervasive corruption that's kind of systemic in all those entertainment industries. And yeah, I'm not shocked at all that Diddy is one of them, the biggest proponents of it.
Yeah, people using their power to get, Casey decided to leave, prompting Diddy to repeatedly message her throughout the night, accusing her of leaving him high and alone.
Imagine getting those kinds of messages and these actions from what is ostensibly your boss. Because he is. He's a boss.
Come back, frowny face.
I'm all alone.
You're just gonna leave me like this? I'm scared.
I'm high and I don't want to be alone.
Why have you never messaged me like that,
The
Charlie?
phrase of that did seem kind of juvenile, accusing her of leaving him high and alone. Like,
I'll start sending you those text messages, Jackson, when I'm out, like in a bar. It's like, Jackson, I'm so lonely. Where are you?
why didn't you come? Why aren't you here? Where's my hug?
Yeah, where's my hug?
But it's a little funny that someone whose whole mantra is like, as a big, tough and rumble rapper, part of the lawsuit is that he had a cuck fetish, you know?
Yeah.
Like-
I mean, that's how that always goes, right?
It
Like,
does,
I feel like we see that a lot with like these perceived powerful people, like strong guys. It's always like, well, he actually really like to watch me other dudes in front of him. It happens all the time.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, you think you're tough? You think you can take my girl? I bet you'd like to. Why don't you do it right now? Go. And there she is.
You think you're so tough, huh? Why don't you f my girl? Oh, you think you're such a tough guy, huh?
In 2007, there was another instance where Diddy paid a promoter to create a fake flyer for a party supposedly hosted by Casey. This provided her with an excuse to travel to Miami and away from her boyfriend. Casey was unnerved by Diddy's ability to manipulate others into lying for him, and she felt extremely uncomfortable with the entire situation. This guy had a fake flyer to have her fly down. This is the most like high school,
elaborate shit,
like,
just so he wouldn't feel lonely.
Yeah. Casey alleges that Diddy or his management controlled every aspect of her life. He introduced her to a lifestyle permeated by drug use, which contributed to her compliance. He insisted that she refer to him as Pop Pop, a term she called her grandfather.
Disgusting.
Ew, gross.
Oh,
Gross.
yuck.
Diddy would have his personal staff accompany Casey during all of her day-to-day activities, and even some of her medical records sent to his email address. The example listed in the lawsuit is from when Casey suffered memory loss, possibly due to injuries from abuse and or drug abuse. When she had an MRI, her results were sent to Diddy and not her. Diddy also made Casey get prescriptions from his doctor in her name for medication that he was addicted to when he exhausted his own supply of pills.
God,
This
that's
guy
so.
like Lex Luthor. He's,
Yeah,
like,
that's
getting older.
just constant drug.
Diddy would often show spouts of incredibly violent fits of rage, apparently beating Casey multiple times each year, leaving bruises all over her body. He would go to extensive lengths to hide evidence of this, like having Casey hide away in hotels for days while she healed. She recalls after one particular party, in which Jay-Z was named as being in attendance, that Diddy kicked and hit her and forced her out of a vehicle on 5th Avenue in New York City. She got a cab to take her to her apartment, but was so traumatized and afraid of Diddy that she had the realization that she could never tell anyone due to how influential he was in the music industry. Where Diddy discovered that Casey had a conversation with another music producer at a party in Los Angeles in 2009. Casey wanted to discuss her career with the producer. In response, Diddy abruptly removed Casey from the party and departed in a car. Allegedly, Diddy forcibly pushed her into a corner of the car and proceeds to, quote, stomp on her face. Despite the presence of Diddy's security team, the situation escalated beyond their control, which showed her just how loyal his network was.
I doubt the security
Man.
team even like tried to stop it, right?
No,
Yeah,
they definitely
yeah.
didn't.
Casey was expected to find locations and hire male workers when Diddy wanted. The situations being frequent, sometimes weekly. He would become so intoxicated and belligerent during these situations and would allegedly also beat Casey in front of the workers. The lawsuit lists multiple locations where this, what Diddy referred to as our secret to Casey, would happen, including Trump International Hotel, the London Hotel, the Intercontinental Hotels, and more. Man. Hotel suites would be decked out with baby oil and Astroglide, and Diddy would provide Casey and the worker with seemingly endless supply of drugs, including ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, weed, and alcohol.
What's GHB?
I have no idea. I don't know what that stands for.
Diddy would film these encounters, and even when Casey deleted the videos, Diddy would claim that he had backups.
So using it for blackmail, probably like hoarding these.
Oh
videos
yeah,
as blackmail.
absolutely. Casey tried to escape Diddy multiple times, but he utilized his staff and networks to lure her back in. During a brief breakup, Casey actually dated musician Kid Cudi. Diddy was irate as he had found her phone and saw emails between her and Kid Cudi. He apparently had a manual corkscrew in his hand and charged towards Casey in an attack. In a panic, Casey escaped to Kid Cudi's home. She returned to Diddy, however, as she felt as though she had no choice when Diddy would ask to just talk to her. Diddy was still enraged and hit her multiple times. Casey says that he threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car. Around this time, Kid Cudi's car did explode in his driveway, and Cudi has since come out and confirmed her version of these events.
It's probably just a coincidence, right?
Yeah, just faulty wiring somewhere.
Casey says she was stuck in a cycle of abuse, trying to run away, being trapped, apologizing, and coming back. It was a rotation of bruises, black eyes, busted lips, and heavy amounts of makeup. She believes that Diddy paid Intercontinental Century City $50,000 for hallway security footage that showed him beating and throwing glass at her.
Man, if that is true and they have proof to back that up, that Intercontinental Century City is complicit in hiding evidence of domestic abuse, whoever accepted that offer
it had
at
to be a
hotel.
manager or something, right? Because it's not like 50,000 is a bribe to the whole organization
brand.
or anything.
Yeah, it'd be nothing. It'd go to an individual, so they need to find the individual.
They arranged a dinner in 2018 where she thought they would be discussing their official separation. However, instead they returned to her apartment after the dinner and he forced his way in and onto her. She repeatedly asked him to stop and attempted to push him away. She was assaulted and this left her traumatized and says she continues to suffer emotional distress. Just one day after the lawsuit was brought against Diddy, they settled outside of court. The terms of this were not disclosed, and Diddy's attorney in a statement made it clear that this was not an admission of wrongdoing. Cassandra's statement in this says, "I have decided to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have some level of control. I want to thank my family, fans, and lawyers for their unwavering support." And Diddy's statement says, "We have decided to resolve this matter amicably. I wish Casey and her family all the best. Love."
This next allegation is from a woman named Liza Gardner. On November 24th of 2023, another lawsuit was filed against Diddy and singer Aaron Hall. So it was a suit against two people by Liza Gardner for battery, assault, and negligent infliction of emotional distress. The lawsuit was filed within the time frame of the Adult Survivors Act and details an event that happened in 1990. Basically, what happened was Liza and her friend were invited to New York City by a few close friends of theirs who were members of a chart-topping recording group signed to MCA Records, which Diddy was a part of. Liza was from North Carolina at the time. She recounts that they met up with Diddy and Aaron at the offices of MCA Records where an event was being held at the time. Diddy and Aaron were very flirtatious and offered rounds of drinks all throughout the night. So remember, this is in 1990, so this is a long time ago by this point. Diddy and Aaron extended an invitation to Liza and her friend to join them at Aaron's apartment for an after party. There, Liza alleges that she was offered additional drinks and coerced into engaging in activity with Diddy. Following the assault, Aaron allegedly barged into the room and proceeded to assault her as well. After the ordeal, Liza hastily dressed and fled the apartment with her friend following closely behind. And when they were speaking to each other afterwards, they kind of recounted their experiences and a lot lined up, suggesting that both women had been exchanged between both Aaron and Diddy. Days later, Diddy turned up to where Liza and her friend were staying, and he acted in a Diddy-esque irate manner, something we've come to know and kind of experience over the next 30 years as being pretty common with Diddy. He began to choke Liza to the point where she passed out, and he was also searching for her friend out of worry that she would alert the authorities about what had happened. This lawsuit goes into just really disturbing details, like apparently Aaron Hall had bragged about engaging in activity with minors as well. Like there's information in the lawsuit about that specifically, and confirmed that Diddy was sometimes in the room when this was happening, so he was at least complicit to the conversations about some really disgusting stuff happening with minors.
So one thing that you didn't mention here is that she was 16 at the time. The Liza Gardner was 16 during this period.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't know why that wasn't in there. It's awful.
I double checked, and according to NBC, the amended complaint filed by Gardner on Tuesday, which was like a week ago, obtained by NBC, said she was 16 at the time, thus too young to consume alcohol or consent to.
So that's in the amended lawsuit. Maybe that's why I didn't see it.
Yeah, this is that might be why it's not there, because I remember seeing that headline, and the fact that it wasn't there, I just thought it was important to mention as well.
Yeah,
so
that's
maybe you just
definitely
missed it because this is pretty brand new.
Charlie, you can take the next one.
Sure. This next one is Dickerson Neal versus Combs. On the 23rd of November 2023, a lawsuit was filed against Diddy, Bad Boy Entertainment, and Combs Enterprise LLC by Joy Dickerson Neal for suffering as a result of being drugged, assaulted, and abused and being the victim of revenge porn. The lawsuit was filed within the time frame of the New York Adult Survivors Act, same as Liza Gardner's. Joy was a student at Syracuse University studying psychology. She was looking to make a step into the music industry and also worked many odd jobs in the industry, such as a receptionist at a renowned talent agency and as a location scout. When they met, Diddy made several advances on Joy, but she had heard that he had a reputation of treating women badly and rejected him every time. So he already had that reputation.
Yeah, and this was in 1990.
Yeah, before he even had like his massive amount of fame to his name.
Christ.
In January 1991, she eventually agreed to meet Diddy in New York, but she chose the Wells restaurant in Harlem as she was reluctant and knew the employees there. During the evening, she started to feel more comfortable. They were sharing drinks and food, and she made a point to say that there was a period of time that she went to the bathroom and she left her drink unattended. Diddy did not want the date to end, and invited her to run errands with him. And once they were in the car, he brought out a blunt. Originally declining, Joy felt pressured to take a hit, and Diddy told her he would have her home with enough time to study. After this, Joy says her memory is incomplete. She remembers feeling rubbery in the legs and being unable to stand, and he brought her to a music studio. Then she recalls being outside of where Diddy was staying, possibly thinking that it was his house, but an acquaintance of both of theirs answered the door. Once inside, she was assaulted, and due to being drugged, was unable to fight Diddy off. She says that the day after, she was in so much pain in a way she had never felt before, and held a lot of embarrassment and shame. This resulted in her not going to the hospital or reporting the incident, instead seeking safety in her apartment. Devontae Swing, a member of the group Jodeshi, would inform Joy a few days later that Diddy had filmed himself assaulting her and showed him and others the video. She was horrified to hear that everyone had seen it and that it would haunt her for the rest of her life. Joy recalls that Devontae wanted to speak up about it, but was scared that the band would lose their record deal as they were in the midst of recording their album Forever Lady. Holy shit. So they saw this video, still didn't do anything about it, and he is bragging about assaulting her and filming it.
Well, not just bragging about it, they showed the video. Yeah. They was just willingly showing these to people in the industry. Again, it's just...
And the dude's like, sorry, we've got like this whole deal worked out, you know?
Yeah, so like I saw you get assaulted and shit. That video was brutal, but we're recording Forever Lady right now, so if you could just tough it up till that's done.
Every single time these situations happen where someone gets away with like decades of like assault and abuse and rape and stuff like that, it's always because there were 100 people who were like, yeah, but I didn't want to make things weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just had so much going on that was in jeopardy if I was to report this. It's like, I mean, is it that urgent? Do I need to report it?
We're doing great on iTunes.
Record.
I don't want to kill that momentum or anything.
Yeah.
What's that saying that's always overused about how like the only the one thing that lets bad people do bad things is
evil prevails when good men do nothing.
Yeah, something like that.
That's the Call of Duty quote that comes up when you get killed in COD 4.
I'm pretty sure it's a Churchill quote originally, but yeah, it gets used everywhere.
It's true though. Like so many situations here could have been prevented if the people witnessing these events had put aside their ambitions, their goals, their fear of them being like targeted by Diddy, and instead done the correct thing and alerted the authorities about just the troubling stuff.
This is 1991. You could have stopped Diddy before he ever even spiraled even more out of control.
He wasn't even that.
Ended.
He was successful, of course. I'm not gonna claim that he wasn't and that he didn't hold some level of power, but he wasn't Diddy, the the billionaire media mogul, like empire creator that he is now. Like it would have been way more possible back then.
I also just don't understand because like I feel like you gain so much more by being the one to blow the lid off it, right? Like this band or this group, I'm not even familiar with. and they were so excited for this album that I don't know. But I probably would know them if this was the group that led to him going to jail for these kind of things and stopping him. Like, they would have had so much more success, I imagine.
I don't think back then, but now, yeah. Yeah, like, in current year where everyone's so connected and, like, the allegations and stuff like that gets a lot more screen time and people taking it seriously. But back then, all it would have taken was, like, B. Diddy saying, like, no, you or something, and then, like, now they're shunned and no one believes them.
Yeah. I guess that's true. Maybe back then it would have been different. Joy had tried to file reports against Diddy and had even allegedly spoken to several prosecutors with the intention of pressing charges. But members of the law enforcement told her that she needed witnesses or people who had experienced similar assaults. People around her were terrified to speak up against Diddy, as he was powerful and could ruin future opportunities. He was also known to be violent, and they seemingly did not want to be at the other end of his anger.
God damn it.
This is Lil Rod. On 26th of February 2024, a lawsuit was filed against Diddy, his son Justin, multiple members of his staff, and Chalice Recording Studio, Love Records, Motown Records, Universal Music Group, Combs Global Enterprises, and more by Rodney Jones. Rodney Jones, or Lil Rod, was a former producer and videographer for Diddy. He worked on 9 songs on Diddy's album Love from September 2022. Put all that together. He worked on 9 songs on Diddy's album, Love, from September 2022 to November 2022. I thought that was the name of the album, Love from September 2022. I was like, what is that name?
The album name is Love from September 2022 to November 2023. A very specific period of time of love for Diddy.
Great year of loving, I suppose. But yeah, so he worked on that album, 9 songs for Love, and he lived with Diddy for months at a time. Lil Rod is said to have many witness statements, video, audio records, and images which corroborate his complaint. Apparently, Diddy required Lil Rod to film him all the time, and on
which is a great idea. Which is a great idea if you're committing crimes constantly, like crimes.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Diddy. Welcome to Jackass.
Make sure you film this. What an idiot. Of course, it's not idiocracy though, it's confidence. That's what's annoying about this to me, is he's not an idiot. Well, he is, but he's not an idiot in this way. He's just extremely confident that he's not going to be caught and no one will, like, care. That's what's so annoying.
It's his ego. Yeah.
So on several occasions, took his phone and recorded himself. So he started vlogging his own shit too.
Yeah, great.
This has resulted in hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Diddy, his staff, and guests engaging in illegal activity. Lil Rod claims to have irrefutable evidence of the acquisition, use, distribution of ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and mushrooms, the displaying and distribution of unregistered illegal firearms, case 124CV 01457, document 1 filed on 2/26/2024. Page 7 of 738.
You didn't need to read it specifically. You could have just said it's
no, just in case anyone wants to check out the case number and they're only listening via audio, so they can go ahead and quickly remember that case number. Mr. Combs providing laced alcoholic beverages to minors and workers at his home in California, New York, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Florida.
Man, they got him in 4 different places, handing out beer to kids.
Keep in mind, he wanted all of this documented. Him lacing alcoholic beverages and giving them to minors and workers at his homes.
Do you think he was doing it to, like, jerk off to it? Like, he was proud of what was happening? Or was he actually, like, going to use it in promotional footage or something?
You think he's jerking off to videos of him hanging out with his friends and stuff?
Yeah, like, I don't know why he'd even want any of it recorded. Like, there's nothing that you could use that for. Like, oh, I want to... Hey, Lil Rod, can you pull up that party from like 2 weeks ago? I want to see me give this kid some beer again.
Well,
I don't understand.
No, maybe it's when he's feeling lonely. He looks back at it and sees all the fun times he had with his friends.
He probably wanted to do like some video with it, or like be like, no, this is my life. This is what it's like. This is the lifestyle, you know? Like,
I don't know. I think another equally possible thing is this guy's got actual amnesia, like he has memory loss problems from all the frequent drug abuse, and he needs this footage to remember his life.
It's like 50 First Dates, the end of 50 First Dates, he wakes up to this playing on the TV to remember his whole life. He's like, oh shit, that's right, I'm a criminal. I beat women, of course.
Mr. Combs' chief of staff, Christina Coram, KK, instructed her staff to retrieve drugs so she can provide it to Mr. Combs for his consumption. Christian Combs drugging and assaulting a woman. Mr. Combs detailing how he planned to leverage his relationship with Bishop TJ Jakes to soften the impact on his public image of Cassie Ventura's lawsuit. Young Miami's cousin and or assistant assaulting Mr. Jones. Actor Cuba Gooding Jr. harassing and assaulting Mr. Jones.
You didn't know about that?
Whoa. No.
Okay, this
what?
is going to get interesting, yeah.
That's a name I haven't heard in so
I know.
long.
And, well, it's not a great situation for it to pop back up in. And it only gets
Holy
worse.
shit. So rapper Redacted on Mr. Combs' yacht consorting with underage girls, workers, and R&B singer Redacted in Mr. Combs' Los Angeles home consorting with underage girls and workers.
I want to know who they are so bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you guys this article because I looked up Cuba Gooding
No,
Jr. here.
it's coming up. It's coming up.
Well, this is 9 hours ago. There's no way it's here.
Oh.
It's just this headline and this picture associated with it is extraordinary. So it says, Cuba Gooding Jr. surfaces in Miami amid Diddy's drama, and it's him on the back of a golf cart looking like really shocked at what he's reading.
Like he's reading it in real time. He's on his phone.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm going to throw
Is he
this up
wearing
on screen
overalls?
as well.
He's got like a vacation shirt. He's
Yes.
got like a vacation shirt on. He's going to a yacht.
He's like, shit, I did what? Like he's just
He's
finding
like,
out.
damn, I don't
don't
who did I
remember.
assault? He's in the next picture. He's shaking his fist. Damn you, little Rod. However, this turned from promises to threats. Allegedly, Diddy even threatened to harm Lil Rod physically, saying he would eat his face off.
What the fuck?
Diddy even said he would kill his own mother, Janice, to achieve his goals. Jesus Christ.
Is that, wait,
Unprompted. Just go.
Yeah, I can imagine how that conversation went. Listen, I will kill my mother right now. Like, I will do
In an
it.
instant.
you think Janice is reading these allegations and be like, what the My son said what? What's up?
My son's gonna kill me. Why?
Also, eat his face off? Was he on bath salts at the time? Like, what a
Probably, yeah.
weird threat.
According to the lawsuit, Diddy was relentless, intimidating, flaunting his firearms, and boasting about his ability to evade consequences for violent acts to sow fear in individuals like Lil Rod. In September of 2022, Diddy was holding a writers and producers camp at Chalice Recording Studio. Diddy, his son Justin, and a man named G were in a heated conversation that moved from studio into a restroom near where Lil Rod was shitting. Sitting.
Is that because you read restroom?
Yeah, I definitely thought that said shitting because they went to the restroom and I thought they barged in on him pooping.
That's the most up allegation of all. They didn't knock before they barged in.
Where Lil Rod was sitting, which was about 2 feet away from the bathroom. He then heard multiple gunshots ring out. According to Lil Rod, a crowd gathered outside the restroom, and when the door opened, Diddy and his son walked out, and G was lying on the floor in the fetal position, bleeding from his leg/hip area. Lil Rod ran to G and began applying pressure on the wound and demanded that someone call for an ambulance. During this, Diddy and his son had disappeared to another section of the studio. Lil Rod was told by Diddy to inform the police that he was not involved in the shooting at all, and was instead instructed to lie that G was shot standing outside the building in a drive-by incident. What? G would certainly not play along with that, though, right? Wouldn't he be like, no, I got shot by him?
Maybe he was afraid of getting shot again by
That's true.
Diddy. Who knows?
That is super true. And there's pictures of the aftermath here. Lil Rod says that he still has the clothing that he wore that day, which he thinks may still have G's blood and DNA on it, and provided photos that show the assumed blood and mess inside a bathroom to prove that this wasn't a drive-by shooting. Lil Rod suffers from PTSD, severe anxiety, depression, and insomnia from this event, as the gunshot was so close to where he was sitting that he thought it likely that he himself was about to get hit. So there is photos of this blood in the bathroom and everything.
Yeah.
And definitely doesn't seem like a drive-by.
Unless the drive-by was by the bathroom. Yeah, I don't think so.
While living with Diddy, Lil Rod says he was the victim of constant and unsolicited groping and harassment by Diddy. He was also forced into working in environments like Diddy's bathroom, where he would walk around naked. Lil Rod expressed his discomfort to Christina Karam, who was chief of staff to Diddy. She responded with, "You know, Sean will be Sean."
How was this made? Just what was the absurd lengths they went to be like, it's just dudes being dudes, all right? Get your pants off. I've got some Astroglide.
She was chief of staff. Like, she earned that position. What?
Walk around naked, grope everyone. Yeah, it's just, hey, that's just quirky old Sean.
Yeah, maybe you should talk to someone about that instead of perpetuating and accepting it.
She also attempted to downplay the groping as friendly horseplay.
That's even worse than Sean will be Sean.
What are you getting so upset about, Lil Rod? It's just he diddling your balls. What, you don't do that with your other friends?
Then she slaps his ass. It's like just the worst working environment.
Lil Rod also believes that Diddy was grooming him to pass along to his friend Cuba Gooding Jr. They met on Diddy's boat, and Diddy left Cuba and Lil Rod together in a makeshift studio on the yacht. Cuba then began groping and touching Lil Rod, who felt extremely uncomfortable in the situation. Apparently, Cuba did not stop until Lil Rod actually pushed them away. Lil Rod says that he was often forced to solicit workers. Diddy would also want him to perform acts at his pleasure. Another incident on Thanksgiving saw Diddy asking Lil Rod to solicit workers from Booby Trap on the river in Miami.
Shout out.
Diddy actually provide...
I think it's Booby Trap on the river.
Oh, that's the whole name of it?
I think so. Like, is there only one river
Booby
in
Trap
Miami?
on the river?
Yeah, I think.
I have no idea. I've never heard of that.
You've never been?
But anyway, Diddy provided Lil Rod with a bad boy baseball cap and forced him to wear it at the venue. It was a signal to workers that Diddy was in town and Lil Rod has been sent by him. Oh my god. They have their own code.
Diddy
That's like a
Squire
sock on the
here.
door. Lil Rod did not want to do this, but was intimidated by Diddy and felt forced to. He felt Diddy had some level of power and influence over him. In February 2023, Diddy compelled Lil Rod to bring workers back to his home. Here, Lil Rod believes that he was drugged by Diddy. He woke up naked and confused in bed with 2 workers and Diddy. He recalls wandering around the house naked aimlessly.
Fucking
Bro,
Christ.
what the heck?
Yeah, he also details that Diddy hosted a listening party at his home in July of 2023, and the party consisted of his son Justin, a redacted R&B artist, workers, and underage girls. Apparently, at least 5 of the girls were under the age of 16, and Diddy forced all of the women to drink DeLeon liquor laced with what Lil Rod believes was ecstasy. No IDs were checked at this party, and Lil Rod says he felt uncomfortable and attempted to leave, but Diddy forced him to stay. Lil Rod says that there were many people of power that attended these sponsored events and listening parties at Diddy's home that should or would have known that the underage girls were present. Apparently, there were specific bottles of alcohol that were only for females and certain bottles only for himself, staff, and friends. That is fucking abominable.
Yeah, it's one of the worst allegations so far. Because if this is happening, I mean, it has to happen frequently, right? It's just, there's so many people involved.
He's got his own code language, so this is definitely frequent.
Oh, yeah, true. Like the baseball cap.
Lil Rod also witnessed Christina Karam order all assistants to keep Diddy high off gummies and pills and made everyone from butlers to housekeepers walk around with packs filled with multiple types of drugs, so it was readily available if he asked.
Has he ever been sober?
It doesn't sound like it. She made Lil Rod carry around a drug pouch on multiple occasions. Another shocking allegation made in this lawsuit was that Diddy has hidden cameras in every room in his house, which I 100% believe.
Yep.
So my guess is that Stevie J video came from one of Diddy's listening parties where he started doing
100%.
whatever was on that video that he secretly
He's clearly
recorded.
got like a bunch of footage of all these powerful people, and that's probably why Stevie J went to bat for him against Lil Rod.
So Lil Rod believes that Diddy has incriminating videos of important celebrities, music label executives, politicians, and athletes without their knowledge and in compromising acts.
So anyway, the quote from this is, "I have never seen any lawyer in any pleading in any court accuse people in companies of criminal conduct without the slightest basis and then try to file an amended pleading completely jettisoning every allegation underpinning the original claims and substituting completely different and can someone pronounce that for me?
Irreconcilable.
Thank you. Allegations to support the very same claims. So that's from Universal Media Group's or Music Group's lawyer representation. So they're claiming that because the lawsuit was amended, this is clear, irrefutable proof that some tomfoolery is going on and such. So I don't know if that. I mean, there's photo evidence and apparently hours and hours and hours of footage evidence of all the stuff that Lil Rod is talking about here. I mean, throughout the document, I've got the pictures here. So it doesn't seem like it's just made up to me.
Plus, there's a history that you can pull from the other lawsuits and the other victims of Diddy.
So many people talk about it. And that brings us to the next thing, which is something that happened very recently. So on Monday, the 25th of March, 2024, authorities from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security conducted raids on Combs' 2 residences situated in Miami and Los Angeles as part of a federal investigation into trafficking. So they clearly had information
If the lawsuits corroborate an unrelated Homeland Security investigation of trafficking, that they think the federal government thinks it's worth it to raid 2 of his houses at the same time.
Yeah, shit's not looking good for PD. Like,
not looking good. Yeah.
We didn't even really touch on trafficking in the allegations. Like, I don't think that this investigation by Homeland Security has even been spurred on by the allegations themselves.
No, it hasn't, because sure, it can be implied, like maybe trafficking was happening with some of the underage prostitutes and stuff like that, but like it's not like a few celebrities filing lawsuits made Homeland Security decide to do this. They've been doing their own investigation for a while. Yeah, that now everything's coming to light at once. So
if their determination is that they need to execute a search warrant for an investigation into trafficking on 2 residences owned by this guy, they've found something that led them to a search warrant being justified, which is pretty concerning. Yeah. And also speaks to something much larger here.
Validates the lawsuits as well.
Also, he was not at either of these residents because allegedly he had received some kind of tip that this was going to happen. So this is when like the fleeing allegations came out, where he had run away. So he had abandoned both of these properties. He was well aware this was on its way. So he took preemptive measures to get out and potentially hide damning things.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. He definitely wasn't at the residences when this occurred, so it's likely that he was tipped off. That's good. If there's something there, which I assume there is, they would have found it.
Well, I don't think there would be, since he clearly knew this was coming. I imagine he got everything out that would be a problem.
Yeah, maybe. Man, I hope not, man. Additionally, it has been reported that Homeland Security confiscated hard drives during the operation. But it doesn't stop there. I wanted to end this one on another little anecdote, which is Diddy's relationship with minor artists, so artists who are minors at the time.
Due to the allegations of professional malpractice, a new wave of scrutiny was washed over all of the previous relationships Diddy had with minors. As such, a creepy video of Diddy interacting with 15-year-old Justin Bieber resurfaced, where Bieber was said to be spending the next 48 hours with Diddy. Quote, "He's having 48 hours with Diddy."
This is Diddy talking, by the way. I should specify.
Oh, Diddy says he's having 48 hours with Diddy. Yeah, he referred to himself in the third person. Gosh. Were we hanging out and what we're doing, we really can't disclose. Oh no, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. Diddy, then 40-year-old, says in the video. He would continue by saying, quote, "He's signed to Usher, and I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album," after implying that he's been given custody of Bieber for 48 hours. In another video taken months after, Diddy confronts Bieber about not returning his calls.
Have you guys seen that video of like the awkward confrontation between Diddy and Bieber?
Where Bieber looks super uncomfortable. Yeah.
He's like, I don't know, man, or whatever. He's just kind of like dismissing it, but like Diddy genuinely seems upset that he can't get in contact with Bieber.
Oh gosh, this is so sick.
That's so weird. He's having 48 hours with Diddy, where we're hanging out, what we're doing can't disclose, but it's a 15-year-old's dream. That's so creepy.
Was a resurfaced Howard Stern interview with Usher from 2016, where Usher, who was closely tied to Diddy when he was a minor, admitted that he saw some, quote, "very curious things" that occurred at Diddy's New York mansion. Usher was sent to live with Diddy for an entire year, hence the legal guardianship referred earlier, when Usher was just 14 years old.
Why is Diddy? What is happening with these parents? Why are they just sending children to live with Diddy for like?
You hear stories all the time about like parents would let it happen because they thought it would help the chances at fame or something like that.
Yeah, but this
right?
is they're acting like it's a medieval kingdom. Like they're sending their children as like wards of Diddy. It's so strange. Like, here's your new squire, Diddy. It's Usher. Like, it's so strange. How would this help? How would this help like launch a career? You can still work with him without like having to live with him.
All right.
I just don't understand how that even happens in the first place.
I don't understand the reason for it.
When Stern followed up by asking if Usher would send his own kids to Puffy Flavor Camp, which is what Diddy called his mentorship program, Usher quickly said, "Hell no. Puffy Flavor Camp?"
What the
He would have kids come live with him and said it was Puffy Flavor Camp.
He's the king of branding. Like, what? I don't know, man.
This is so out in the open. I feel like this is one of those cases where when the dust settles and he's in jail for, life within the next couple of years, people will look back at this moment and be like, how did people not know? How did no one see? Like, this was all
That's the
right in
troubling
their face.
thing. People knew. I mean, right there though, like this is an example of a celebrity knowing something's wrong and not doing a single thing about it. Like Usher's like, no, I wouldn't send my kid to Puffy Flavor Camp. I know what happens at Puffy Flavor Camp.
Yeah.
Well, if you know it, you wouldn't send your
It's
kid
just
there. Do
dudes
something
being
about it.
dudes.
Be a good human
Exactly,
being.
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Everyone just stays shut up constantly.
Because they're afraid. They're afraid of Diddy and his Puffy Flavor Camp. Usher would go on to say, and this is before about when he was living there. Usher would go on to say, I got a chance to see some things. I don't know if I could indulge and even understand what I was looking at. It was pretty wild. It was crazy. There were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it. We can't know with guaranteed certainty the validity of the multiple claims of the lawsuits, but there does appear, it's undeniable, there does appear to be a troubling and problematic history of abusive behavior and frankly, just shocking activity by Diddy that seems to be overwhelmingly illegal and also overwhelmingly covered up by an industry that seems to have a habit of turning a blind eye if it means career security and progression. I don't think any of us disagree with that statement, right?
Mm-hmm.
I definitely don't disagree. Like I said, I think he's guilty on pretty much everything he's accused
Same.
of. There's too much evidence, too many similar stories from so many different people. I think that he is guilty. I'm following the Diddy case very closely. I think this is a super serious one that's up there with like the same level of Epstein almost. And in following the case so closely, where I have peepers on it at all times, I'm also following his lawyer pretty closely. So I've watched every interview that his lawyer has done. Good old Mark, a real patriot. The majority of what Mark says is just boilerplate standard lawyer lie speak, just a bunch of babble where when confronted with questions, just basically deflects it or reshapes it. So if he's confronted with a question about the case, he will do his best to steer it differently. So in one interview, someone asked him point blank what he thinks about the video that shows Diddy beating the shit out of a woman. And he says, yeah, that's bad. He basically just says, like, it's not good, beating women, boo, I'm not a fan of that. But we have to remember, he's not being indicted for beating women. Wow, Mark, checkmate. Right you are. We do need to keep that in mind. Surely this video evidence of P. Diddy beating the shit out of Cassie has nothing to do with anything else. You've nailed it there, Phoenix Wright. You're a real shining star, Mark. And that's kind of what he does. He'll take things, be like, oh yeah, no, beating women, not good. But that is not what he's indicted for. In fact, they're coming after him for trafficking. Can you believe it? What nonsense. It's ridiculous, and we're gonna prove it in court. We'll give him the razzle-dazzle, a little bit of that slam jam, thank you ma'am, and prove that P. Diddy is an innocent man. It's a bunch of nothing, a giant nothing burger with the way Mark talks about it. I know he knows that P. Diddy is guilty, but he's about to get a fat paycheck for it. So there's not a whole lot I want to talk about when it comes to Mark's interviews or statements, but there are two interviews I want to show you and really talk about because they are beautiful. So Mark's been getting asked a lot about the baby oil. Mark has to defend so many awful, heinous, and downright weird things for his client, and he has to defend all of them, mind you, which includes the baby oil, and the way that he tries to defend it is so silly. He is an amazing clown. So if like this whole lawyer thing doesn't work out for him, or if he wants to retire and just like do something on the side, this dude absolutely needs to get into like honking his nose professionally, because this shit is great.
They call them freak-offs. But, you know, back when I was a kid in the late 70s, they were called threesomes.
If these are genuinely threesomes, how do you explain 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
I don't know where the number 1,000 came.
The U.S. attorney said it.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, you know.
There's already so much to unpack there. He is trying, with a straight face, to say that the freak-off parties are just threesomes. Brother, open your eyes. There are videos from some of the freak-offs, and it's a lot different than what you're trying to paint it as here. That is just so disingenuous and delusional. I get that it's his job, but man, don't insult the intelligence of every human being on the planet. It's just one Google search away. You can see. It's not just threesomes, and Goober here is trying to pull the wool over your eyes by trying to convince you that it's just threesomes. Well, back in my day, we used to call that a threesome. Now all of a sudden it's a freak-off or some shit. Like, what are you talking about? That's so dumb. But anyway, to the baby oil. He immediately tries to downplay it like, oh, it wasn't 1,000. Where'd that made-up number come from? That's a fake news fib right there. And the interviewer's like, no, that came from the attorney. Like, no, that's the official statement. And he's like, no, they must be lying. Surely they're lying about that.
And I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way. I don't know what you need 1,000 for. I mean, he has a big house. He buys in bulk. You know, I think they have Costco's in every place where he has a home.
You can see the cogs in his brain turning in real time as he starts to come to the realization that there is no way to try and justify or explain away 1,000 bottles of baby oil. That quantity is absurd, unfathomable even. And he starts to like break it down, and he starts to go like and argue against his client, like 1,000 bottles of baby oil? That just doesn't make any sense. Who would possibly need that amount of baby oil? Do you know how much mileage you can get out of a single bottle? The best he could come up with is saying that since his houses are close to Costco, he's probably just buying it in bulk. I decided to look it up, just out of curiosity, what the biggest bundle of baby oil you could even buy in bulk is, and the biggest pack that I could find was 5. A 5-pack of baby oil. He would need 200 packs of that. Just picture that for a moment. Imagine stacking 200 packs of baby oil, 5 packs. If you stack them on top of each other, from bottom to top, it'll probably be about as high as a small office building. Like, that is crazy. And you're going to sit there in front of God and anime and try and make the claim that the freak-offs are just threesomes and the 1,000 bottles of baby oil is unrelated somehow or used for threesomes. Like, Mark, please, brother, oh my God.
I mean, have you sat in a parking lot of a Costco and see what people walk out of there with?
Not 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
I don't think it was 1,000. I think it was. Let's just say it's a lot. Okay.
No, that's not okay, Mark. Why don't we use the actual U.S. Attorney's report on how much baby oil they confiscated from his property? You can't just wipe your ass and throw that number away because it makes your client look like an even bigger psychopath. You can't do that, Mark.
I've been with him since 8 o'clock this morning, and it's about almost 3 o'clock now. He's just laser focused. He's engaged. He's helpful. He's confident. You know, we're going through our defense as we do every day, and his spirits are relatively good.
Hey, Mark, I just want to say that information does not make me happy. I don't want to hear that P. Diddy is in good spirits. He shouldn't be. That guy is an absolute fiend. He's a villain. He is evil. I don't want to hear that he's in good spirits or having a positive outlook on things. I want to hear that he's miserable, because that's what he deserves for what he's done for the last few decades that he has been terrorizing the entire music industry and ruining lives. So, Mark, your reporting right there actually put a frown on my face. You know that? I want you to know that.
how do you explain the baby oil and the lubricants? 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
I don't think it was 1,000. I think it was a lot. I mean, there's a Costco right down the street. You know, I think Americans buy in bulk, as we know. And you know, this is consensual adults doing what consensual adults do. You know, we can't get so puritanical in this country to think that somehow this is a bad thing, because if it was, there'd be no more people.
He's really sticking to the Costco theory here. Just sit outside of Costco and look what people come out with. It's crazy stuff. I'm sure he's not the only person to walk out of Costco with 1,000 bottles of baby oil. That's definitely the normal thing that happens. And then he tries to put a spin on it that it was consensual adults engaging in activities. Mark, one of the big things about the freak-offs is the non-consensual nature of some of the shit that P. Diddy would force the guests to do. It's like a crucial component of this. And I understand, like, he can't go out there and say anything like that, but the evidence is overwhelming. So I just don't, I hate hearing lawyers speak about a case in a situation like this where the client they're defending is clearly guilty, because then you can just see the lies spilling out of their mouth, and it's just an awful thing to even just look at. But he then does try and put like that last little bow on it by saying like, oh, we can't be like this. We can't be all yucky about hearing about. It's important. Imagine if there wasn't. There'd be no more people. Whoa. Galaxy brain, Mark. Wow. I see why they pay you the big bucks. But yeah, I just wanted to show you these two interviews here because I love seeing Mark squirm when it comes to the baby oil statement and the baby oil line of questioning. It's really just so good to watch Mark try and tackle it. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. Have you heard the stories of the P. Diddy Defense Force? I imagine not. These bugs crawl around the deepest, darkest corners of Twitter, constantly trying to fight for the honor of Puff Daddy. These rotten scoundrels aren't paid for their services by P. Diddy to fight his PR battle for him or anything. The only thing they get paid in is a couple of updudes from other inmates of Arkham Asylum that join them on this crusade. The Puff Daddy Patriots have been in full force red alert because a lot of new evidence has come out about just how evil P. Diddy is and has been for years in the music industry. There's overwhelming evidence that has existed for a long time, as well as brand new discoveries that have really painted a picture of just how up P. Diddy is and has always been. And the Puff Patriots have been trying to deny all of it for him. A lot of them just kind of default to like, oh no, women are lying manipulators, so these bunch of whores are trying to get an innocent man in trouble. And they're not a large number of people that do this, mind you, but having anyone that defends P. Diddy is incomprehensible to me. And now this group of goobers is swallowing a tough pill here because a video came out that not even they can defend. It's surveillance camera footage from 2016 in a hotel where P. Diddy chases down and then beats his ex, Cassie. Obviously, I can't show this video, but it is brutal. It is a disgusting thing to witness. And there is no trick photography here. That's not a deep-faked AI or anything like that. It is footage of P. Diddy mercilessly beating his then-girlfriend, which corroborates the abuse allegations that have been made against Diddy for a long time now. P. Diddy also came forward and issued an apology video today. He actually sat down and did a YouTuber apology for this. Let's go ahead and take a peek.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life, but sometimes you got to do that. I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
He hits rock bottom, he hits women, he hits crack pipes. There's nothing this guy won't hit. The way he immediately starts this apology video is so phony baloney. It's so difficult to reflect on the dark times, but I've got the strength to do that because I'm built different, so I'm going to reflect on the most painful moments of my life. When it comes to strength, I'm like a Super Saiyan being able to sit down and talk about this. And then he goes on about how it's inexcusable, he's not going to make any excuses. Brother, your whole career is built around making excuses for your abusive behavior and all the really up shit you've done. And you are still constantly doing that. Even if it's not you directly making the excuses, you hire your team of lawyers to do it for you to keep yourself out of jail. This is a guy that should have been locked up for life a long time ago.
I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now.
Turn yourself in then. You take full responsibility for it, you're that disgusted, walk to the nearest police station and turn yourself over. Although I'm not even sure if the police department would do anything about it. They issued this statement once the video started to go viral. They said, "We are aware of the video that has been circulating online allegedly depicting Sean Combs assaulting a young woman in Los Angeles. I've said this before and millions of people have said it millions of times before me. But the word allegedly does so much heavy lifting in this day and age, it's crazy. Like, I know why they use it in the legal sense, but like, we all just watched P. Diddy beat Cassie. And he himself came forward to confirm that it was him beating Cassie. And they still use the word allegedly. That is like actual Looney Tunes level cartoonish dog shit there. You can just drop that word. The video has been circulating online depicting Sean Combs assaulting a young woman. Like, there's no gray area here. He has confirmed it. Everyone can see it in the video, but whatever. We find the images extremely disturbing and difficult to watch, and the office added that it would not be able to take action against Combs. If the conduct depicted occurred in 2016, unfortunately, we would be unable to charge as the conduct would have occurred beyond the timeline where a crime of assault can be prosecuted. As of today, law enforcement has not presented a case related to the attack depicted in the video against Mr. Combs, but we encourage anyone who has been a victim or witness to a crime to report it to law enforcement or reach out to our office for support from our Bureau of Victim Services. Gotta tell you, sports fans, that bureau doesn't sound like it's doing a whole lot of service to the victims if it's going to say like, oh no, your assault, that took place way too long ago. Our hands are tied. We're not doing anything about that. Move on. Like, that's not exactly the best service to victims. How is someone going to come forward and be like, look, I got beat by my ex in this hotel, and it was a traumatic experience that I've been quiet about for so long out of fear for my life. Is there something we can do about it? And they just say, nope. Now, this isn't Cassie that's approaching them, by the way. Like, this video wasn't released by Cassie or her team, at least not from what I've been able to tell. I get the statute of limitations. Like, I do understand that in certain contexts, but when it comes to, like, assaults, like brutally beating women and just all kinds of things, like violent crimes, I would imagine there shouldn't really be an expiratory period there, like it's a loaf of bread, like a Best Buy date, that you have to act within this window or else that's the end of it. Now it's kaput. He just gets away with it. I think it's super stupid.
I went and I sought out professional help. Now they're going to therapy. They're going to rehab.
Oh boy, I'm starting to tear up now. Yeah, this is some heavy stuff here, P. Diddy. This is tough. Yeah, would you like a side of French fries with that? Like, what the man? Why is he trying to summon the wambulance here? He tries to tell his own little sob story here about how it was so hard for him. Wah, wah, wah. I'm the real victim here, actually. It was tough for me, too. I highly doubt he's done any therapy or any rehab or anything, because he has decades worth of allegations against him for these type of violent, abusive tendencies. And the allegations are backed by mountains of evidence and continue all the way to present day. So I highly doubt at any point in his life he's ever sought professional help for him being a violent maniac.
Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
It's so weird if he's that remorseful about the situation, why he didn't apologize back in 2016, why he tried to bury it to the best of his ability and deny all of the allegations and try and paint all of his accusers in the worst possible light to make it seem like they were untrustworthy and lying about the whole thing. It's so weird how all of a sudden now that the video is out there and it's irrefutable proof of all of these allegations made against him, that all of a sudden now he's got this real heavy burden on his shoulders and it's so disgusting and he's truly sorry for it. He's very apologetic. It's so odd that, like, now he's really apologetic about it, now that he's been caught. It almost seems really disingenuous to me. But anyway, P. Diddy is one of the most well-documented monsters in the music industry, and it is shocking that he still is not in prison. But with more and more evidence constantly coming to light about this guy, I'm optimistic that eventually justice will be served here. But anyway, just wanted to give you a little update to what's going on with P. Diddy here. The apology video, if I was to put that on the YouTuber apology tier list, that would be a strong F. Terrible. Absolutely atrocious. That's about it. See ya. It's finally happening. P. Diddy has been arrested. Anything is possible! This is a moment for celebration. For so long, P. Diddy has gotten away with heinous crimes that tons of people knew about. From car bombs to assaults to crimes, it's like P. Diddy was going for some kind of high score, trying to catch every possible crime like a Pokemon. He has terrorized the music industry for decades and ruined so many lives. In recent times, the evidence against him to support all of the allegations that have existed for decades has been overwhelming and led to a large investigation against P. Diddy. And now it looks like we're reaching the climactic finale with him being arrested. When this story broke last night, the indictment was sealed, but this morning they said, open the gates. Let them see. To sum it up, he has been charged with trafficking by force, transportation to engage in prostitution, and racketeering conspiracy, alleging he ran an enterprise that engaged in trafficking, forced labor, or kidnapping, arson, and other crimes. He abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct from 2008 till now. The allegations mirror 11 civil complaints filed against him since 2023. Really, that's only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the P. Diddy lore. He is a horrible menace that has been around for decades. Also mentioned is that he had thousands of bottles of lube and baby oil that were seized from his home during those raids as part of his freak-off supplies. He also had tons of narcotics as well. So Diddy became infamous for his freak-off parties that would go on for days, where he'd force attendees to not only stay there and perform non-consensual acts in front of him, but he would just be pumping them full of drugs, and he would be watching while furiously masturbating like a coked-out goblin. So in relation to the drug charges, he'd allegedly distribute cocaine, oxy, Xanax, GHB, MDMA, and ketamine. I'm going to be very brave here for a moment and say, that's not alleged, that is confirmed. The amount of drugs this guy had here, he was like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, but drugs instead of candy. The amount of freaky shit they found in his house must have been like entering a separate dimension. Thousands of bottles of lube, like so much lube would make Bad Dragon's headquarters jealous. Thousands of bottles of baby oil, more than Johnson & Johnson's warehouse probably. I wouldn't be surprised if they found the goddamn Death Note among those freak-off supplies. His legal team seems very optimistic that things are going to go well for P. Diddy. They even released a statement saying, "We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office." Hi, Mark. What is wrong with you, man? Are you serious? Like, I understand it's your job. I get that, but holy cannoli, an unjust prosecution, huh? So what if there's overwhelming evidence to support the decades worth of allegations against Mr. Combs here? And so what if there's that video of him brutally beating Cassie in that hotel? He said he's sorry. Did we forget about that? He apologized. Let's all move on from it. Racketeering? You're gonna try and come after him for racketeering? Mr. Combs' brain is so rotted from years of drug abuse, he can't even spell racketeering, much less engage in it. This is a load of hooey. It's unjust. A miscarriage of justice, even. He goes on to glaze him a little bit, sucking on his cock, calling him a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, proven philanthropist. He then has the gall to say he's imperfect but not a criminal, and then says he's been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reverse your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. See, that's the thing, Mark. People have all the facts because there's so much evidence with the facts. There is video evidence to support the facts. What do you mean? Again, I know he's just doing his job, but that shit is so shameless and foul. I don't know how you sleep at night when you have to defend someone that is obviously guilty like P. Diddy. It's wild to me. P. Diddy, 31 minutes ago. Sean Combs arrested in Manhattan after grand jury indictment. They done caught the diddler. They also had that video drop of him beating the shit out of her recently. And then he released the apology video about it. It's always, like, I understand it's their job to defend their clients, but it's always just so crazy. A statement from Mr. Combs' legal team said that they are disappointed with the decision to prosecute him and noted that he had been cooperative with the investigation and had voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Ugh. We're so disappointed that they're actually trying to hold him accountable. Like, we're really upset about that, actually. Yeah, there's overwhelming evidence to all of these awful, awful crimes that he's committed, including that video of him beating the shit out of the Cassie. But, like, why would you, like, I thought this was a free country. Why would you try and, like, punish him for that? I'm assuming the apology video didn't work. We don't know yet. We don't know. Maybe they'll send the apology video out to the powers that be, and they'll be like, wow, he is reformed. This is a good man. We can't punish him for... He's changed. He has changed so much. Look at this apology video and how sincere it is. We're dropping the charges.
I was up. I mean, I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Now, Combs
It takes... I'm not going to show any of that. It's brutal. It takes a big man like Puff Daddy to take full responsibility after saying he's going to make no excuses and immediately starting the video with an excuse about hitting rock bottom or whatever. Ah, man. A beacon of strength, really. It took a lot. A lot of courage for that apology video. I respect 50 Cent being a massive hater and selling the documentary Diddy Do It. 50 Cent has been, like... I would say an elite level hater of P. Diddy for quite a while. I don't remember how long ago this was, but there's a comment he left on an Instagram post of Diddy's that I think about from time to time and giggle on. It was P. Diddy riding a bike, and 50 Cent left the comment under it saying, "We all know there's no seat on that bike." That shit, like, I was grabbing my belly when I first read that one. I thought that was so good. Earlier this evening, federal agents arrested Sean Combs based on a sealed indictment filed by the SDNY. United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Damian Williams, said in a statement, "We expect to move to unseal the indictment in the morning and we'll have more to say at that time." Federal grand jury in Manhattan returned an indictment against Combs, which set in motion his arrest. The charges remain sealed. Oh, keeping him a mystery right now. A little loot box of charges here for him. What was the name of his camp for kids? Where you, like, brainwash kids and shit? Was it Puff Daddy Pastry Parade or something? What the was it? Puff Daddy Love Care? Puffy Flavor Camp. That's what it was.
the singer and producer...
Puffy Flavor Camp. That's right. Basically, like, abducted kids. That's exaggeratory. He didn't, like, abduct them himself. But that shit was foul. The 48 Hours with Justin. Oh, yeah. The P. Diddy clip with Puffy Flavor Camp. He was like, I don't remember the whole... I'll pull up the clip, I guess, in a second. But there's a clip where there's an interview, and he's like, no. Justin's got 48 hours with Puff. He's got a 48 Puffy hours. No interruptions. It'll be good for him or something. It's so weird. Diddler. In plain sight. Right under everyone's nose for years. Finally, though, they're acting on all of the shit. Much like Epstein, it feels like everyone knew he was on some heinous shit, but no one came forward because he's so influential. Well, that was one of the big things. If I remember correctly, he had, like, a lot of dirt on everyone through throwing his Diddy parties. So I think that was a big piece of leverage for him in keeping people quiet for so long. But yeah, tons of people knew all about Diddy and the terrible shit.